Alright, so let's talk about how you can deploy your iOS application from Xamarin. This is about Xamarin after all, over to an iOS device. So Apple has a lot of restrictions as to what kind of applications can be installed, and that applies to developers as well. We cannot just simply go ahead and run our iOS application. Right now I am here in Visual Studio for Mac. This will work for Windows as well. Of course, the UI may be a little bit different, the menus are a bit different, but overall this is going to be the exact same process. And you can see that I have an iPhone already connected. Now, first of all, for my iPhone to be recognized, it would have to go over through a process. That is something for another lecture. But in case you already have your iPhone recognized, or your iPad or an iPod Touch, I believe there is still a version of an iPod Touch that can have iOS 12 installed. All you have to do really is sign this. And so what I will do is navigate over to the info.plist file, and you will find a sign-in section. In here, I want to apply automatic provisioning. So Visual Studio will set provisioning profiles and signing certificates for you to simplify app testing on that device. So this is what is fairly new, and that is going to be simplifying the process of testing on a real device so much. All you have to do then is make sure that you sign in with your Apple ID. So I will click right there on the sign in with Apple ID, and I will go ahead and sign in, of course, with my Apple ID. And so now that I have signed in, I will immediately see this listed, and I will see the name of all of the groups of which I am part of, including my own group in which I am all alone. So I will select this one, I will click on OK, and you will see that we have the list of teams. I only have one team. I am a forever alone person, so I select that unique team, and that is it. Visual Studio has already provisioned everything that is required. Of course, it has done some things in the background. It went over with Apple, it communicated with Apple, and it created a provisioning profile, a signing certificate, which means that I will now be able to deploy to my iOS device. So let me start recording over here on my iPhone, and let me go ahead and run this on my iPhone directly. So of course, I have my iPhone selected in here. And all I have to do is wait a few seconds, maybe more than a few seconds, but eventually these will be deployed over to my device. Now again, this is only going to work while I test my application. If you want to learn more about how you would deploy this to your users, well, I have courses, full courses on Xamarin that include, of course, how to deploy to the app stores. I even have a course on the works that should be published very soon that includes how to deploy through the App Center. So I have been talking about this because the application is taking its time, but it's already here installed. You can see my device. It is launching, so it is already working entirely here on my device. Now I do have an exception here. This has nothing to do with the fact that I'm deploying this, but the fact that I'm setting something odd in here, but you can see how my application is running now. Again, this error has to do with the fact that I'm connecting to a service that I have just deleted, but I just wanted to show you how simply by going through the signing and enabling automatic provisioning, you can do this. If you want to do this from Windows, just keep in mind that you would have to have a Mac connected. So you can of course still do this from Windows, but there is actually something that has to happen on the Mac. So of course Visual Studio is going to take care of everything, but you do have to have your Mac connected. So just keep that in mind, and that is it from this short video. Again, if you want to learn more, you can do that in one of my courses that I will link down below, so you can get those courses for a great discount, but you just learn how to deploy this to a physical device now very easily.